Hey guys, thank you for joining me on another interview. I'm really excited today because today I get to sit down with Iain. He's agreed to sit down with me and to discuss his transition from going from cruise ships into yachting. Hi Iain, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, cool. So quickly explain to me what it is that you are currently up to.
So right now I'm chief officer on a new build in Northern Europe. We should finish sometime towards the end of summer, towards the end of the year kind of area, depending on how everything goes with the build and the schedule. But everything looks really good so far. So this is my third new build in a row. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's nice. It's looking forward to getting back to sea though, because I haven't been back at sea for a while.
Okay, cool. And then tell me, how long have you been in yachting for now?
So I've been in yachting for 6 years now. I transitioned over from cruise ships. I did 8 years on cruise ships, and I was just stayed in the commercial world until I got my my master's license, and then I decided to move across because everybody told me the life was a lot better and things were great in yachting, and it was all fun, and I could get full rotation, which on the cruise ships you couldn't get at the time. It was a non-starter. You had to wait till you were like captain, and even some of them weren't getting full rotation.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
the cruise ships are a bit strange like that. Like they really don't have to offer full rotation all the time. They're starting to more and more now. A lot of them are starting to offer it, but I think once this coronavirus thing kind of ticks over as well, I think they'll probably go back to probably not offering full rotation.
Yeah.
And yachting is kind of the place where you'll always get it on the boats that are, the larger boats.
Yeah. So let's talk about your transition actually from cruise ships. So in order for you to, like, when you did the transition, was there any extra courses that you needed to do or any extra things that you needed that you can shed some light on for people that are looking to transition?
No, I think from the certificate side of things, everything is quite straightforward. Commercial tickets, if you have all the commercial tickets, you don't need to change anything. All the STCWs and your medicals and your licenses are all good for yachting as well.
Okay.
I think from the transition side of things, it takes time, and it is a very difficult one. I mean, I tried to do it after getting my master's license, and I was looking for a job for a couple months, and then I started running out of money, so I had to go back to cruise ships again. I took another contract, and then luckily, in the middle of that contract, I got a call from the place where we met, actually, from Dubai, and got a job on there. It's quite a lucky transition for me, right? Because they were looking for someone like me with commercial experience, and I came across, and that yacht that I was working on is a fairly commercial type of yacht as well. So it was a good transition for me to step into a role that was easier to pick up the yachting side of it as well. And also, of course, as you normally have to do when you transition across, you usually step down a role. So I stepped down a rank just to get my foot in the door because I needed a job and I wanted to get into yachting. So it was an easy choice to make.
Okay. And then as far as, doing the step down and then basically going through the training and the day-to-day stuff, was it quite different from being on the cruise ships?
Yeah, I think it's massively different. I know I see it in a lot of the guys that I hire across from cruise ships and the commercial side is you have to change your mentality about what you do on a day-to-day basis. It's not that you go and put on your nice white uniform and sit on the bridge chair and drink your coffee and push buttons on the consoles. You really need to get out on deck and get amongst the guys and learn how to properly wash the boat, which you never do on a cruise ship. Maybe you did it when you were a cadet way back in the day, but it's not something you do as an officer. And I expect all of my officers to be out on deck. I expect myself to be out on deck, learning how to wash and then detail and do everything properly to a completely different standard.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so you've just told me your story, and then with all the knowledge and experience that you have now, looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently when you were coming into yachting?
I mean, I don't really think so. I kind of listened to a lot of the other people that had already been in yachting for a while, you know, which agencies to go and put my CV in with, what to do, who to talk to, how to get myself out there. I mean, I was obviously living in Canada, so I'm kind of way outside the yachting world. So I really had to kind of get myself out there quite a lot on the manning agent side, because, you know, dock walking around the world wasn't really viable for me at that time. No, I think like I said, I got quite lucky to get on a boat that was a good first step, that was easy for me to transition across. And then from there, I moved on to a much more yachty yacht, let's call it that, where, you know, everything was a complete another step up for me. And so it was a good kind of image. I know a lot of people do struggle when they come straight across into, you know, a busy charter yacht or, you know, busy private yacht, and there's lots of expected of people, but and some people find it tough to kind of acclimatize.
Yeah. I actually wanted to ask you about that. So if you had to think about like people that were maybe in your rank on the cruise ship and they're transitioning to yachts, would they, as far as wording on CV goes, because usually, you know, if you're looking for the same rank, you would be talking about your management experience and all that. Do you think that just lowering your, how should I call it, like your skills, or changing that wording a little bit so that you don't really come across as like, you know, you kind of come and join the yacht and like try to take over the management side of things? Do you think that it would be helpful just to, you know, dumb it down a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to expect, especially with junior roles like third officer, second officer roles, that when we get CVs, we're going to have, especially now with the cruise ships not really being around right now, we're going to have 15, 20, sometimes 30 CVs that pile in. So everybody's going to have the same skill set, whether they come from cruise ships or commercial background, or whether they have a little bit of yachting experience. And of course, you know, you group them in ways where you see their strengths. But if I'm just looking at like a pile of guys that come from the cruise ships, pretty much all their skills are going to be the same. So I think you're right. You do need to word it, you know, a little bit more specific to the yachts, like, you know, that you do like to be, you know, a hands-on person, or, you know, really make those other skills shine. Like if you like to do carpentry on the side, or, you know, you can paint a little bit, or, you know, you have some medical skills, or you're a diver, or, you know, something like that kind of makes you stand out a little bit. But I mean, for me, for CVs, it's more actually talking to people that really makes the difference for me to see what they're like, kind of not in person. We usually only do phone interviews, but that's what really makes all the difference, is how you come across, because you have to fit into that tight little community that you have on board. And if I don't get the impression that, you know, you're going to, then, you know, it's going to be kind of, you're being knocked down the pile a little bit.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Well, that's great advice right there. Okay, so what do you feel is the best bit of advice that you can give a person that's about to start out in yachting right now?
Oh, it's tough. It's a tough time. Have some patience. Have a lot of patience right now. And I see a lot of people still getting lucky. I was lucky. I got a new job in the middle of this COVID crisis. So, I mean, it's not unheard of. There are jobs out there. You just have to bide your time, and, you know, it is tough. But I would say just keep putting yourself out there. If you can, you know, get to places where you can network with people, and, you know, get on pages like yours and try and, you know, find out more information and see what you can do. But just keep trying. Don't give up.
Yeah, persistence is key.
Yeah.
Okay, so just one last thing. I've been trying to do this in all the interviews. Like, you've been in yachting long enough now that I'm sure that you've got one funny story to share that, I don't know, something that happened on board, or something that really got stuck in your memory that a lot of people wouldn't expect to hear of something that happened on board?
Oh man, there's lots of stories, and most of them I probably can't tell in polite company. I think for me the amount of it's still like I still get shocked by the amount of money that gets spent and just gets thrown around. And I mean, like, the presents that, you know, the owners will buy each other. And I can remember one year we were in Monaco for Valentine's Day, and a very last minute request came in, and we had to basically clear out, I think, the entire south of France of roses at the time, which was funny because the florist that we talked to was like, yeah, I had to go to my supplier and unlock the door with the key that I have for him and basically just steal everybody's roses. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I took all the orders that were supposed to go to other people. I just went in at 4 a.m. and just completely. And that was the second year in a row that we did the exact same like rose display out on deck. But it's always, these things come last minute usually and surprise you. And that's why I feel very sorry for the chief stews out there when they have to jump around and try and, you know, fill these requests at the end of the day.
Yeah, that is one thing about yachting, is like you can plan as much as you want, but there's always going to be last minute things.
Yeah, and very difficult things to complete as well. It's never like, can you get me a cup of coffee last minute? It's like, can you move the world for me 1 inch left?
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Iain. And thank you so much for joining me on this little sit down. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries at all. I hope it helps some people, and yeah, maybe I'll see a few CVs come across my desk because we're going to start crewing up later this year. So
awesome. Thank you so much.
Cool. It was nice to talk to you.